Hello student, let us start today's class. Alright, let us start with an interesting activity. We take a bulb and a battery is connected across the bulb. Initially let us take the potential difference of the battery be 1 volt. Then what happens to the bulb? The bulb glows. Then we increase the potential difference of the battery, say it is 2 volt. Then what do you observe again? The bulb glows, but it is brighter. So there is something is going on. There is a relationship between this potential difference and the electric current which is taking place here. So it was stated by George Simon Ohm in 1827. So let us start today's topic, that is Ohm's law. Alright student, now before starting Ohm's law, we shall always use a word or a sentence, potential difference across a conductor. What is that? Let us try to understand that thing at first. Then we shall proceed to Ohm's law. A conductor is taken, it is connected across a battery. This is the positive terminal and this is the negative terminal. For the negative terminal, potential is 0. For the positive terminal, potential is V. Let's say potential difference across the positive and negative terminal is V. The difference is V. Alright. Now these wires are connected to the conductor. So here the potential which is the end which is connected to negative terminal is 0 of this conductor. The potential which is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, it is V. So here across the conductor the potential difference is V. V minus 0 is V. Alright students, this is this thing you have to understand clearly. Now let us start Ohm's law, what he did in his activity or experiment. In this circuit you can see that a conductor is there and a battery is connected. With the battery, few things are there. Alright, one is ammeter, next is voltmeter is connected across the conductor. Okay, now the positive terminal of the battery is connected to the positive end of the ammeter and the negative end is connected to the conductor and with the positive terminal of the voltmeter. Alright, this is the connection and a key is also put here. Now what we will try to do, we will try to get a relationship between V and I, that is potential difference and the current. Initially let us take the potential difference of the battery be 2 volt. The 2 volt is applied, then what will happen? The ammeter and the voltmeter, they will give deflection. That means some current is flowing and there is potential difference. Alright, here in this case V is 2 volt and we measure the current, it is 1 ampere. Then we observe the potential difference with the help of this voltmeter. It is 2 volt. Alright. Next we change the potential difference of the battery. Say it is 4 volt. Then let us take the ammeter reading and the voltmeter reading. The ammeter gives the current as 2 ampere and the voltmeter gives the current as 4 volt. Alright, so simultaneously let us make a table. The potential difference and the current are noted. When the potential difference is 2 volt, current is 1 ampere. When potential difference is 4 volt, current is 2 ampere. Next, in this circuit, let us apply a potential difference of 6 volt. Then, now let us observe the measure of electric current by the ammeter and the potential difference by this voltmeter. Alright, now here the value of V voltmeter is 6 volt and the value of current is 3 ampere. Alright, so these things are plotted in the table. Now let us remove the kit and let us try to draw a graph with the help of this table. Here, let us draw two axes. This is y-axis and this is x-axis. In the x-axis, let us take current and in the y-axis, let us take V. When current is 1 ampere, then V is 2 volt. Let us plot this. When current is 2 ampere, V is 4 volt. Let us plot this. When current is 3 ampere, V is 6 volt. Let us plot. What do we observe? We observe a straight line. Again, we do one more thing. Let us take the ratio. In each case, let us find of this table, let us take V by I in each case. What do we observe? In each case, V by I is constant. When V is 2 and current is 1, the ratio is 2 by 1. That is 2. When V is 4 volt, current is 2 ampere, the ratio is 2. In next case, when V is 6 volt, current is 3 ampere, ratio is still 2. You can check. It means when V increases, current also increases. Or if I increases, V also increases. We observe from this graph also. It is a straight line. This straight line indicates that they are directly proportional. Directly proportional means if one factor increases, other factor also increases. Alright, student? This way, Ohms concluded his law. He stated like this. At a constant temperature, current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across the conductor. I repeat, at constant temperature, that means during this activity or experiment, there should not be any increase of temperature in the conductor. Then we will not get the proper values of V and I. So the statement is like that. At constant temperature, current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across the conductor. Alright, so we can write I is directly proportional to V. So we can write like this also. V is also directly proportional to I, as they are directly proportional to each other. Okay, so this gives us, as we want to now remove the proportional sign. Okay, let us proceed. Then V is equal to, proportional is changed to equal, then we have to put a constant, right? V is equal to a constant R into I. Okay, now this constant R is called resistance of the conductor. Now, what is the function of this resistance? Its function is to oppose the flow of current. It opposes when current is flowing through the conductor, it will oppose the flow of current. In a conductor, if resistance is less, more current or current can flow easily. If resistance is more, current flow will be less. In a good conductor, resistance is less, current can flow easily. In any insulator, means where current cannot flow, resistance is we take as infinity. That's why current cannot flow through this. Now, let us talk about the SI unit of resistance. The SI unit of resistance is ohm. It is taken after the name of George Simon Ohm. The symbol is the Greek alphabet omega. You can see. Now, question is, why there is resistance in a conductor? When current will flow through this conductor, why resistance comes into act? Let us try to understand. Okay, this is very interesting. Here we take a conductor and a battery is connected across this conductor. You can see in the diagram. Now there are so many free electrons in the conductor. This will help us for flowing the electrons or electricity or electric current. And you can see in the diagram, there is negative terminal. This negative terminal will repel the electrons, will push the electrons so that it can move toward the positive terminal. Now, during this repulsion, when electron will try to move from this end to this end, they will collide with number of electrons or the atoms inside the conductor. This collision causes resistance. Means if there is a rough road, you cannot move smoothly. You are getting some opposition, some resistance you are getting. So here there is collision, continuous collision. That's why resistance comes into play. If there is no collision, that means resistance will be zero. Alright, so number of collision increases, then resistance also increases. If collision is less, resistance is less. This is the simple thing about resistance. Alright, we want to see how the resistance looks like in laboratory. The name of we do not say the name of the device is resistance. The name of the device is called resistor. Here you can see some examples. Okay, these resistors are used in laboratory to find the resistance. Now, how do we represent a resistance in a circuit diagram? This is also interesting. Suppose there is a rough road. In this rough road you want to move. What you are getting? You are getting opposition. Now, how will represent the road? It is, we'll say, zigzag road. We cannot move easily. In the similar manner, a resistance is given by zigzag path. Okay? So you can see how resistance is represented in any circuit diagram. Now, let us take one more topic to discuss. That is combination of resistors or combination of resistances. Generally, we take this combination in two ways: resistance in series and resistance in parallel. Let us discuss one by one. At first, let us take the resistances in series. We have taken few resistances. Now, when do we say these resistances are in series? Again, I repeat that device is resistor, property is resistance. Okay? Now, they are in series when the tail of the first resistance is connected to the head of the second resistance and the tail of the second resistance is connected to the head of the third resistance. They are in series. Alright. Now, what about the resistance when they are connected in parallel? Let us take the diagram. Here you are observing that all the heads are connected together and all the tails are connected together. This is parallel combination of resistances. Now, let us discuss about the resistor when they are in series connection. Here we have taken three resistors. The resistance of each be R1, R2 and R3. They are connected across this battery, you can see. Alright, now current is flowing from the positive terminal. What is happening? This current is flowing through all the three resistances. Alright, so there is a single path. So what is happening? Same current is flowing through all these three resistors. Now what about the potential difference? This potential difference will get distributed. In the first resistors, it be V1, in the second resistor potential difference be V2, and in the third resistor potential difference be V3. Thus, this total V will be sum of these three. V equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. So by this what do we understand? When resistors are in series, then same current flows through all the three resistors. Or here we have, for simplicity, we have taken three resistors. There may be 100 resistors. Doesn't matter. Okay? As there is a single path, so same current will flow. Alright? There are no branches, so current cannot move here and there. There is a single path, so same current will flow. So always remember, students, if resistors are in series, they will have same current will flow through all the resistors and the potential difference will be distributed. So the simple thing is that in series connection, when resistors are in series, I will be same, current will be same and V will be different. Now here in series connection, the total resistance will be R equal to, we say the equivalent resistance. R will be equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. If there are more resistance, then we will add like this: R equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus R4, like this will go on. Alright, so here the equivalent resistance is sum of all the resistances. Then let us discuss about when the resistors are in parallel. Here you can see in the diagram, these are the three resistors, they are connected in parallel and a battery is also connected. Now again, let us discuss about the potential difference so that you can understand this. Potential of the negative terminal is 0, potential of the positive terminal is V. So the potential difference is V minus 0, V. So when we come to this junction, that is joining of the resistors, head, tail, here they are joined. At this point, which is connected to the negative terminal, the potential is 0 and here potential is V. So potential difference V minus 0, it is V. So across all these three resistors, the potential difference is V. Okay, in series connection, potential was distributed. Okay, it was V1, V2, V3, but here they are connected in parallel. The potential difference across each resistors will be same, V, which is same as the battery or the source. Okay, student. Now, what about the current? Then you see, current is flowing from the positive terminal to the negative terminal. It will flow. Now, when current reaches the terminal, what happens? Current is distributed. There are three paths. So, current will be distributed. Say, in the upper branch, I1 current flows. In the middle one, I2 current. And in the lower one, I3 current. In this way, current will be distributed. And in this junction, again, they will meet and the resultant current will be again I. Alright, students? So, in this series connection and in parallel connection. In series connection, current will remain same. Here, in parallel connection, current will be different. In series connection, V is different. In parallel connection, V is same. Alright, this is the basic difference. Now, in the parallel connection, if we want to find the total resistance can be found like this. Say, the total resistance is, or the equivalent resistance is denoted by the symbol R. Then R will be given by this expression, 1 by R equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. Okay, so in series connection, equivalent resistance is R equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. In parallel connection, it is 1 by R equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. Okay. Now, if there are two resistors which are connected in parallel, how will find the equivalent resistance or total resistance? You will say, sir, it will be 1 by R equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. But in shortcut also we can find the equivalent resistance in parallel. If I am saying the case when they are in parallel. If they are connected in parallel, the equivalent resistance of two resistors will be R equal to product by sum R1 into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So at first how you find in one line? At first you multiply both the resistances, then you will divide by the sum, that is product by sum. In this process easily we can find the resistance in shortcut. Okay, today up to this method. Thank you, students.